The state auditor will review a controversial contract at the Franklin County Auditor's office that critics say looks like a payoff. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Jerry Revish.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. 10 Investigates first told you about calls for that audit last week. Investigative reporter Paul Aker is here with more on the audit. Paul, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you this: the Franklin County Auditor formally asked for the audit himself in this letter to the State Auditor. That follows our investigation that aired last week. It showed Mingo gave his former chief of staff a $135,000 deal not long after she offered to end sexual harassment claims in exchange for a six-figure payout. Mingo says this audit will clear the air.
I want to be responsive, responsible, and transparent as we look at this situation.
Franklin County Auditor Clarence Mingo is talking about why he asked the state auditor to review this contract. It authorizes payments to Mingo's former chief of staff, Giselle Pierre-Louis. Last week, 10 Investigates reported that Mingo fired Pierre-Louis from her post as chief of staff. She then wrote a letter claiming that Mingo sexually harassed her and another employee in the office. Pierre-Louis demanded about $150,000 in exchange to end the allegations. Later, she got a consulting contract which paid her $135,000. After reporting that, 10 Investigates spoke to a watchdog group that called for an outside review.
This clearly needs to be investigated.
But Mingo claims everything was proper. He points to this second letter from Pierre-Louis as proof. In it, she partially recants her earlier story about the sexual harassment, saying that it was based on irresponsible conjecture. However, she did not take back her claims that Mingo also approached her. 2 weeks after that letter, Pierre-Louis signed that six-figure deal. Mingo says he welcomes the review because he wants to put the public at ease.
I have always maintained that I have operated well above board with respect to this contract. I want to ensure that there are no doubts and no ambiguity in that regard. And so the goal is to let a third independent objective party look at this and reach the right conclusions.
And late this afternoon, the lawyer for Pierre-Louis also spoke up. In a statement, her lawyer says Mingo is attempting to, quote, marginalize the seriousness of Miss Pierre-Louis' ordeal. He also says the contract was Mingo's idea for Pierre-Louis and that he made that after her allegations. Paul Aker, 10 Investigates.